From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, presented by Reliance Jio, powered by Havells, in style partner Raymond.
At the Mumbai airport, Akshita Nandgopal is reporting live for us as Sridevi's family brings back her mortal remains. Let's go straight across to the airport. Akshita, over to you.
Right, Arnab, we're getting you the live visuals right now, and we're not going to be changing our frame because these are the live visuals from the General Aviation Terminal. We know that the mortal remains of Sridevi have been brought to Mumbai as well. Bonnie Kapoor, Arjun Kapoor, Sanjay Kapoor, all of them had accompanied Sridevi's mortal remains. Also, Anil Kapoor, Anil Ambani, several well-wishers, relatives have all gathered here at this point. You know, what I'm hearing right now from the officials inside is that some of the formalities that need to be completed are ongoing at this point. Possibly in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we will see the ambulance carrying Sridevi's mortal remains coming out of here, Arnab. We will respect the family's privacy, of course. They also are going through a very emotional and difficult time. So they will be heading straight away to their Lokhandwala apartment. Tomorrow is when the final journey of Sridevi will also take place. And we're going to be getting you the latest updates from here as well. The paperwork, the documentation is currently taking place. Medical practitioners are inside this very building. We know that her mortal remains have been taken to the cargo terminal to finish all of those formalities, and after that is when we can expect that her mortal remains will be brought out, will be taken to her house as well. There is a number of police officials, CISF personnel who are also present here. We're keeping you closely, we're closely tracking the developments that are taking place.
I can see Amar Singh in those pictures there.
As well.
I can see Amar Singh. Can we stay steady with the pictures out there?
It's difficult for me really to identify.
Yeah,
but
I can see Amar Singh there. I can see Anil Kapoor behind him.
Who's just stepped out.
I can see Anil Kapoor behind him. I'll try and give a commentary. That's Anil Kapoor in a black t-shirt. That is Amar Singh, the politician. And we just stay with the pictures out there. And they have just come out. And they've just come out there. First pictures there from the Mumbai airport, viewers, where Sridevi's body is being brought back by her family. It's a very, very long shot frame, so it's difficult to keep a steady frame at the moment. But if you can just tell the camera person to steady up as much as possible. And we are getting the pictures there. Amar Singh, Anil Kapoor just came out at the airport. And I want to tell you again that there were 9 people who've been on this flight with Sridevi's body. And the 9 people in this case are Anil Kapoor and Amar Singh are waiting. They're not on the flight. So that doesn't mean that the people who are on the flight have actually landed. They've landed, but they are not out yet. And and now we are awaiting to see the other people who've flown with the body. They should be coming out in some time. So there is some movement that we are seeing there at the airport. Akshita?
Yes, Arnab, as you just told our viewers as well, we've seen Amar Singh coming out, Anil Kapoor as well, Amar Singh in full white, Anil Kapoor dressed in black, and several others also who've gathered here. Quickly also, we're just going to show you there are a number of people who are now coming out. That is currently... Yes, you've got some other family members also leaving from here at this point, but we're going to be getting you the latest visuals. There is a flurry of activity here, as well as Sridevi's mortal remains are expected to come out in an ambulance. There is an ambulance waiting inside. Several family members, relatives have also come here to accompany Bonnie Kapoor, as well as Arjun Kapoor and the other relatives who had flown down with her mortal remains from Dubai, Arnab. We did catch Anil Kapoor as well as Amar Singh coming out of that main door, but you can see that there are preparations currently underway as well. Several officials present there, CISF personnel also present inside there. But there are several family friends, there are relatives also inside at this point. Just possibly a few more minutes now, Arnab, because we know that there are still a few more formalities that are pending, a few more procedures that will need to be taken care of. But we are getting you more live visuals. This is Neeta Ambani there. She is just coming out. She has also come here to be with the family at this very, very difficult time. Yes, Hina, my apologies, Arnab. We're very far off, so I'm trying to also get you the updates as and when I can see people coming out at this point. So, you know, we're getting a number of visuals at this point. Anil Kapoor, Amar Singh, the family members all coming out at this point as well. So those are the latest visuals that we're getting for you.
Yeah. So those are the pictures that are coming in from the Mumbai airport. A group of people who are waiting there, who are friends and family of Sridevi. We have Tina Ambani there. I saw Amar Singh, the politician, and we saw Anil Kapoor there. So they have all gathered. Those who have come in will presumably take a little bit more time, and I think we are going to stay with these live pictures for just a little while longer. Everyone's waiting, and as we see these pictures today, it seems more and more important for all of us that we should know how she died. It becomes so super critical for all of us to know today, how did she die? And how can this be left as an open-ended question? How can this be just left as an open-ended question? So we are told today that you have no right to ask how Sridevi died. And the strangest argument on the other side has been an approach which essentially goes into this touch me not approach and tells us, don't ask any questions on how she died. This is simply ridiculous, because not asking the questions will lead us nowhere. Rohit Kochar is a lawyer. He's joining us from Delhi, and we have Geeta Luthra, who's an advocate of the Supreme Court as well. My view, Geeta, is that not asking any questions will lead us nowhere. Not one person is saying that foul play or hanky-panky went on. All we are asking is, give us some answers. Give us some answers. Sridevi was a public figure, loved by the whole country. Today there's a gaping hole in the minds, in the hearts of a lot of Indians today. Does it not merit a simple answer to how she died? Don't we deserve that answer? Geeta, what do you think?
So I think when a public figure dies, it's obviously a matter of public concern if the death is not a natural death. And so the possibility would be, it can be a homicidal death, it can be an accidental death, it can be a suicidal death. Now, while we say that, we also have to preserve the sensitivity and the sanctity of the family, because obviously the family wants to preserve whatever vestige it wants. So I would think that what's the best is that their public relations team, I'm sure they have a PR team, should set out a public statement, including perhaps the forensic report, to put a quietus to the matter, so that the public, because she was a public figure, knows and has a sense of a quietus and a closure to the matter. I think that's where the matter should end, because you've had the Dubai authorities look at it. They have released the body. That means they've come to a conclusion that there was no foul play. Having said that, because she was a public figure and because there were these two contrary reports, one that she died of cardiac arrest, the other that it was accidental,
right.
Drowning, and drowning could have been said, but not necessarily accidental to start with. Till the FSL report came, they couldn't have said that.
Yeah.
So I say, to put a quietus, perhaps some aspects should be put in the public domain. Not all of it. We have to respect their sensitivity, but at least to the extent that the public can know and can put a quietus to the matter.
Which has not happened so far, Geeta. Which has not happened so far. And therefore, it's all the more important that we remember, I have 5 simple questions in Rohit. Does our right to ask questions cease to exist when it comes to a celebrity death? Do otherwise publicly made facts cease to exist when it comes to a case like this? And is there any journalistic rule by which the entire media has to stop questioning the narrative only in certain cases? And if evidence is looked as evidence and not through the lens of who is involved? You get what I'm saying, Rohit? Evidence should be looked at evidence, not from the angle of who is involved. Then we should not stop asking these questions, because we are being told today that she lost consciousness and drowned. We are not told how she lost consciousness. We're not being told that question. So today this is an incomplete story which has not got any closure. Rohit.
So Arnab, there's nothing wrong in asking questions, and as a journalist, as a media channel, you are well within your right to do so. However, in this case, there is really no mystery which remains unresolved, because as Geeta mentioned, the Dubai Public Prosecutor's Office meticulously and comprehensively investigated this matter.
This definition, the phrases that you are using are very subjective, and they are not, these phrases that you are using, sorry Rohit, these phrases that you are using are all very subjective, and you can add any level of exaggeration in the phrases that you use to justify your own argument, but that would not be appropriate at this time. We are being told that she died because she lost consciousness. We are not told how she lost consciousness, so I don't know where is the meticulousness involved. We are being told that she fell accidentally into the bathtub, after which she drowned. Right? Do we not deserve to know under what circumstances? And Ira can come into the debate. Ira Trivedi, Shaina NC, and Sumant Raman will also join us. Do we not have a right to know under what circumstances that accident happened? See, you must, before you prejudge the matter and say it's meticulous and spontaneous and comprehensive and etc., superlative phrases which you are using to buttress your own argument.
We don't have to manufacture a mystery and a conspiracy when there is none.
There is no manufacturing of any mystery. No, one second.
And
one
how
second.
A person,
one second.
How
one
a
second.
person
No, 1 second. 1 second.
There
one
could
second.
be various medical
one
factors
second.
behind
No,
it.
1 second. Do you know how she lost consciousness?
I just want to come in.
No,
here
1
for
second.
a moment.
Ira, before you come in, I want to ask you, Rohit. Do you know how she lost consciousness? Do you know?
Well, do we have to speculate about how she
do you
lost
know?
Consciousness?
Do we need to know?
A thorough investigation.
No. The cause of death is the losing of consciousness.
How does a person lose consciousness?
How does a person?
Are you aware, Arnab, that a person can also lose consciousness just by sheer low blood pressure? One can have.
You see, this is an incomplete kind of narrative. No, you see, you are
lose consciousness.
No, you are. See, if you want to build that narrative, you can suit yourself, Rohit.
Neither of us, neither you nor I possess divine powers.
Why is the autopsy report not public?
Speculating.
We'll stop. Nobody will speculate. But do you know how she died? Do you know how she lost consciousness? You don't. Nobody does. You understand?
Well,
I believe what?
As somebody who runs a large legal office also in Dubai, I have full faith in the Dubai Public
Your
Prosecutor's
faith, your
office.
superlatives, your personal juxtaposition of your... See, I can also turn around and say...
It is immune from
No, but Rohit, listen, Rohit, if we are to argue that way, and I don't want to, serious matter, I can also turn around and say that is your experience, but we shouldn't... The whole nation has a right to know how a woman goes into the bathroom fit as a fiddle, never returns because she falls into a bathtub and dies. And why does she fall into a bathtub? Because she loses consciousness. Listen, don't give me only technical replies. No, think logically, like a layman. You say a person loses consciousness.
Arnab, logically, why do people lose consciousness? Why do people have heart attacks?
Why do they?
Why do people have sudden illnesses?
Why?
I mean, is that something we can start speculating and then go on and on about it?
I'll go with the pictures right now.
Then attribute
These are the
and
pictures.
conceive
No, one
and
second. These are the
invent and
pictures of the
manufacture
mortal remains
a
being taken to Boni Kapoor's residence. We have an update. I'll just go across to Akshita for a while just to get a live report on what's going on. The mortal remains have just left the airport, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Akshita is with us on the phone line right now. Sridevi's mortal remains will be taken in that ambulance to Boni Kapoor's residence. And Akshita, back to you. Akshita.
Yes, Arnab, what we do know is that Sridevi's mortal remains have been taken from another gate from a cargo terminal, while the communication was that her mortal remains will be brought from here. Considering the kind of security, the media contingent, it looks like the family has taken a decision to take her mortal remains from another gate. But yes, we can confirm to you that her mortal remains are currently en route to her Lokhandwala residence. Possibly in another 15 minutes, her mortal remains will reach there. We do know that some of the family friends, some relatives are still here. But yes, the Ambanis who had come earlier have left. Several other family friends also have made their way out at this point. So they have taken the mortal remains from another gate from the cargo terminal after all the procedures were taken care of. Her mortal remains will be taken to her Lokhandwala house. We do know it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes from now. That's when her remains are expected to reach the house. The family members are also there, is what we're told. And yes, so that is the latest update that we have for you here. Even as we're getting you these shots, the security is still very much present here because family members, relatives, all of them are still here.
Okay, I'd like to go across to Suesha, who is at Sridevi's residence, and I don't know if she's live with us right now. Suesha, can you hear me? This is Arnab here. I think the mortal remains should be reaching any time now. There is a large media contingent at both places. And you know, we are respecting the privacy in this case. I would suggest those pictures be taken off air. I don't want the pictures of the ambulance on air right now. And I think we should respect the privacy of everyone, including the medical staff who are carrying them. So it's not necessary we stay off this. Over to Suesha. Suesha, if you can hear me, I can see you on the frame out there. If you can hear me, Suesha, Arnab here. Large contingent, I can see a lot of security gathering there just before the ambulance comes in. Suesha.
That's right, Arnab. There is too much security at this point, and if you see these private security personnel who have literally formed human chains to control the crowds, there is too much crowd. In fact, I don't even know if my camera will be able to pan so much because there's a heavy media contingent on both sides, and crowds that have gathered on both sides of the road, this side and that side. Now, of course, we're expecting that the ambulance can arrive here any minute. Remember, I'm standing outside Sridevi's residence at Green Acres, and of course, preparations underway. A lot of friends and family who have been going to the residence really. In fact, just a while back, we saw Shabana Azmi and Javed Akhtar. We also saw Anand Ahuja's car and Pamela Chopra. So more fraternity members really turning up, and also friends of the family who have been pouring in one after another. Now, of course, the security getting more and more tight because it's any moment now that we can expect the ambulance to actually enter from this gate. And we are hoping that what happened at the airport doesn't happen here, because again, here there are two gates, but this is where the entire security is, and this is where all the media contingent is. So we are hoping that the Sridevi's mortal remains are again taken from this gate. And as you can see, more police jeeps that are manning this road every 5 minutes from now, taking a check of how the security is. But yes, Arnab, I can't even, I'm only hoping my video journalist can show you the best view that I can see actually from here. Huge crowds again on both sides of the road. Lokhandwala, this is the heart of Lokhandwala, and a lot of crowds that have gathered, fans of Sridevi.
I can see
who
that,
just want to get a glimpse
and it is, you know, it's just a very, very large media contingent, which is only to be expected, Suesha, because after all, you know, Sridevi's been an icon over decades in this country. And I can only imagine how difficult this moment must be for the family as well, and for everyone there. And it's so tragic, so absolutely tragic, Shaina, as we watch these pictures here, that somebody who left for a wedding from that very house comes back, you know, in a coffin. And I think it's important, therefore, that even at some points the media steps aside and lets the family be with themselves, and therefore I think it's completely right of the family to say that the media should stay outside the building and not intrude. That's very necessary. But then what is making the situation worse, Shaina, is the fact that an entire nation has no idea about how she died. We are just being told that a clean sheet has been given, but we are not being told how she died. And this is now beginning to make people extremely, extremely uncomfortable. This is, it is a question right now that there are so many details, and frankly, Shaina, you know something. Nothing adds up. Nothing adds up. If you look at all the theories that are doing the rounds, which have been presented all off record, none of the versions are adding up. The mystery is deepening. And nobody is giving any answers. And nobody is even wanting to investigate the matter, which makes it worse. So Ira wanted to come in on that. But Ira, before that, I'm just giving Shaina her turn, and I'm coming to you after that. Yes,
Arnab.
Shaina and Ira, yeah.
Arnab, I think this entire issue is about sensationalism versus sensitivity. Here you have a 54-year-old, absolutely fit, very, very disciplined star who values herself and her looks, and then suddenly dies of a heart attack. So obviously there is a sense of curiosity. That curiosity is at its
I don't think it's one second, on your word, on your choice of the word, on your choice of the word, 1 minute, just a minute. Please understand one thing. You had presented the similar argument for me, even in Peter Mukherjee's case, other cases, whole sensitivity argument, I understand. But my question is, please understand, we are asking for a clear-cut official timeline of how this high-profile, very respected Bollywood star died. And I don't believe it is blasphemous to ask that question and then try and respond to that question with an argument of sensitivity. Sensitivity is there, but we want to know which hospital she went to, why, how quick was it, who tried to revive her, was she revived, who was on the phone call with her for 3 days, and therefore, one second.
Valid question.
It is these, and by the way, Boni Kapoor was questioned for 18 hours by the Dubai police for what? What were the questions that were asked? Right? And therefore, if the MEA wants to become a wallflower in this case, we want to ask tomorrow, why is the MEA becoming a wallflower? If the Mumbai police has decided we will not take any suo motu action, then Ira, we ask also, why is the Mumbai police not taking any action? Why is no complaint being filed?
May I complete my point?
No, but you must, before you understand one thing. Understand one thing.
The fact is that
in
when
all
you have
cases,
conspiracy theories and all kinds of rumors floating around, is that the way you want to give her a farewell? Or do you want to, on one hand, say that she's the Shri who all Srimatis respected, and then you have these questions which are answered
if you believe,
a minute,
Shaina, 1 second. And I want to get Ira also into the conversation. Let's get a contrary perspective. But if you believe that today putting a blindfold and letting this matter remain unanswered is a tribute, then there are lots of people who will disagree with you. The greatest tribute will be not to let go of the matter till there is some clarity on how she died. You can't just close it, and a group of people can't come together and say, don't ask questions.
But is
then we ask, no, 1 second. Let us be clear. Let us be clear on something. Let us be clear on one thing. Do not shoot off Sridevi's shoulder. Do not shoot off Sridevi's shoulder, Shaina. She's not here to defend herself. And let us be clear, I want Ira to come in. We are not casting aspersions.
No.
We are not pointing fingers. We are not playing blame game. We are simply asking questions. And we cannot stop asking questions. These questions are necessary. Ira, to respond to this argument. Ira, to Shaina.
I just want to say to Shaina, unfortunately, in this case, I do not agree with you. A public figure has a public life. And that is the reality. Public figures cannot choose to keep some parts of their life private, some parts of their life public. And in this case, Sridevi was a universally beloved person. So when something as tragic as this happens, people are shocked, people are saddened, and people want to know. And in this case, we got the news that it was a cardiac arrest. Yeah. And then once the Khalij Times published the report of the I think it was not the autopsy, it was the death report, then we saw there was accidental drowning in a bathtub. And that is how the news came to India. You know, so I just feel like there was one story one day, another story the other day, and fans want to know because she was beloved.
No, what is strangest in this matter? Yeah. What is strangest in this matter, Ida?
I'm just saying that, Arnab, how difficult is it for the family members to give out one tweet, to give out one statement just to ease everyone's concerns? Yeah. That's all I think that is deserved. But we have to keep one thing in mind. Yes, and I just want to keep one thing in mind, that the Dubai, one country, has investigated this, and they have said that there was no foul play.
Yeah, so which has been done
completely from, you know, and we have to trust that government, you know. So I don't know if we have to get the MEA involved, the Bombay Peace Parties involved.
I would like to go across to Dubai. I would just like to go across to her residence. I would just like to go across to her residence once again. And Suesha has the pictures. I'll stay with the pictures as we're reporting this today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the big question. And the big question, and that is the question of where does all this leave us? As Suesha reports from there, where does all this leave us? Will there be any further investigation into the matter, Geeta? Or will it be hushed up? Will it be put under the carpet? Is a point of concern. With all these unanswered questions, and there are people out there, Geeta, even outside her house today, there are of course security men, but we remember she was a very loved figure. She was a very, very loved figure. The media is out there today in large circles because she ruled the hearts of millions of Indians for decades. So today if China NC or anyone else comes and said, listen, we believe she had a heart attack and she died and she fell into a bathtub and don't ask questions, 1,000 people will say, please, we will not take your one-line explanation at face value. This is not closure. It is, look at the number of people out there, and as I'm telling you, it's still sinking in for a lot of people, Geeta, that Sridevi is no more. That itself is a point of pain. And if a group of people say no investigation, no explanation, nothing, close the matter, I know people won't complain beyond a point, but there will be that feeling that the matter was never settled, in a way that brings true closure. And I think we have pictures coming in of some of the family members now reaching in. I'd just like to go to Suesha for a minute. Suesha? Suesha? I think the family members are beginning to reach Sridevi's residence.
Right, Arnab. Yes, Arnab, we just saw Satish Kaushik's car enter, and remember, he has had a very long association with both Boni Kapoor and Sridevi. In fact, he is the man who directed Roop Ki Rani Choro Ka Raja. But as you can see, Arnab, there is a lot of chaos here at this point because the security is being extremely careful about who they allow to enter and who they have to stop. And you can literally see private security men who formed human chains, massive crowds that have gathered on both sides of the road. And remember, Arnab, this is the wait which we have been waiting for 3 days now for Sridevi's mortal remains to arrive in Mumbai, and this is the moment everybody was waiting for, which has finally arrived. Of course, it is a very somber moment, but finally Sridevi's mortal remains get to reach her house, and the family get to reach their home. It's been the longest wait for them.
And I therefore want to go back at this point to Geeta. Geeta, do you think this matter can be left just open-ended like this?
So, I don't think you like my answer, but the matter has been investigated by the Dubai police. The matter has been investigated by the Dubai Public Prosecutor's Office. The matter was of territorial jurisdiction of Dubai, much as our hearts are with Sridevi. and they have closed it. I think
Sumant.
it's for the family to bring out the autopsy report in order to put at rest the minds of the people. But whether we can have another investigation, I don't think so. I think the investigation as done by the police of the jurisdiction of Dubai where the incident happened should put a closure. But for the people, because she was a public figure, I think the family their public relations teams owes that they should make a public statement, whether they bring out the autopsy report. There may be issues which they don't want to bring out, but they have to make a public statement. This, I feel, they owe the people.
Yeah, I would add one thing here, and Sumant joins me right now. He's been commenting on this matter over the last few days. I think you have put it perfectly. There is an unanswered question element in all of this, and you can't have counter outrage of the kind that China is putting out, saying, how dare you, how can you, and you're being so insensitive and all that. That's not the answer.
No,
you can't be one second.
At the time of the funeral, let
so
the
that's
family
why.
have its privacy.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah, we respect
questions
that.
will
I
be
respect
answered.
that.
Obviously,
I respect
we will
that.
speak.
No, I respect that.
But at the time of a funeral,
Listen, Shaina,
needs
we
to
respect
be
that. You don't have to tell me that.
I mean, imagine what these...
Shaina, listen. You look at this fact right now, that one respects that, eminently respects that. But as some people have been saying, how did she lose consciousness? Everyone on screen, please, not just Shaina, please. It's not a conversation between me and her alone. How did she lose consciousness? How did she fall into the bathtub?
So Arnab,
what was the trigger? What was the trigger for the cardiac arrest?
What happened in that bathroom?
No. What was the trigger for the cardiac arrest?
How she lost consciousness.
And can you give us a chronology of what led to what? You see, you can't, even in any person's case, can I just tell you one thing? For example, in the case of Michael Jackson, there was a detailed inquiry, explanation, questions asked in the media, explanations given. And by the way, Rohit, there wasn't, everyone coming and screaming that, you shouldn't ask questions, because it was the case of Michael Jackson. And he was 50, 51, 52-year-old. When he died in those circumstances, the whole of the world, especially the US, everyone was asking, how did he die? And explanations were given, and the family participated.
But how does one satiate your curiosity about
Rohit, you're being supercilious. Rohit, you're being supercilious. I'll pass the question to Sumant.
You want a video recording of?
No, I think you're being very, 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 very shallow here when you're saying that. 1 second. Let's get Sumant in. Sumant.
Arnab, look, yesterday we were told this is an accidental drowning and the matter was being referred to the prosecutor's office for further action. Today we are told the case is closed. Now that means that the prosecutor has found something that has satisfied himself as to why she lost consciousness and therefore accidentally drowned. Now that should be contained in the detailed postmortem report. So it is in the interest of everyone concerned to put this entire controversy to rest by at least either giving the operative portion of the postmortem report in terms of addressing the key issue, that the question that you just raised, what made her lose consciousness. Now, if that is solved, there could be a logical, natural reason for her to have lost consciousness. So that will put this entire speculation at rest. And that particular reason should be, look, it's easy to say the Indian government should ask the UAE government because she was a big icon and all that. But the simplest thing is for the family at some point in the future, certainly not now, but after a few days, to put the speculation.
I want to just go with the pictures for a minute, and I just want to take a moment, because as these visuals are coming in, it is setting in for all of India that Sridevi is gone forever. And imagine today also, I would like to say this, we ask the questions, but what the family is going through. Imagine that daughter who spoke to her mother just hours before her death, and today that daughter and that family has to receive mortal remains in that very house. So I must say that we must allow the family to grieve in this moment. And Sridevi started acting at the age of 4. She will always be India's first female superstar, and the entire nation is paying its respects to Sridevi tonight. And as she makes that final journey, we must not forget that her career lasted 50 of the last 54 years. What a contribution to Indian cinema over half a century. I will ask the questions, but I will for a moment pause today. And if I am asking the questions, I'm asking the questions as one of her greatest fans. But then for half a century, look at the contribution of that lady. In 54 years, out of 54 years of her life, 50 years she contributed to Indian cinema. And we must remember that Sridevi, when we talk about her performances, the fact that these visuals are there, these visuals are proof today, the crowds you're seeing today are proof of one thing, that Sridevi was unconditionally loved across the length and breadth of India. And Sridevi was loved not just in Bollywood, but pan-India. Her work and her success transcended Collywood, Tollywood, and Bollywood. And that outpouring that you are seeing today of love, and I'm absolutely certain that all of us today, including some of us who may disagree on the nuances, Shaina, me, Sumant, everyone, when tomorrow, when people are allowed to pay homage, I can tell you that this outpouring of love for Sridevi on the streets, on television screens and online will tell you that here was somebody who cut across genres, she cut across regions, she cut across languages, she found a special place in our hearts. And there are today a lot of stars and Bollywood personalities who will be going in. But I can tell you over the next 12 hours or 24 hours, there'll be a lot of people who will be standing out because they know that this is a unique lady whose career spanned half a century. She took home trophies and awards for her work in 5 languages, 250 films. Very, very few female or male actors can claim that kind of a feat. So we are also pausing today. And I'm saying today, Sumant, that I have been asking the questions the loudest. But I am pausing today. I am pausing, but these questions must be answered at some time, and the whole country will remember her. So don't take these questions as anything but a reaffirmation of our greatest admiration for Sridevi. It's so difficult. Sumant, you are from Chennai, and she came from the south. And can you tell us, beyond everything, beyond her Padma Shri, beyond the 10 Filmfare Awards, beyond all the recognitions she got, people will stand still when Sridevi's body is taken to the place where people will be asked to pay their respects to her. It is just incredible. This moment is different. And what makes this moment more poignant is that we don't know why she died. We don't know. She did not have died. She should not have died.
Yes.
She didn't deserve to die. And she was so absolutely brilliant in her performances. And we all saw English Winglish and all the other films, and we said, what a tremendous talent. And that's what makes this moment so much poignant. Sumant, you've been asking questions, but your thoughts today. I just thought, yeah.
Yeah, Arnab, right from day one, after this horrible news broke out, I think, the down south, we sort of associate even stronger because this is where she came from. All her early movies were in Tamil, and then she did about 75 movies in Tamil, 80 movies in Telugu, 25-30 odd movies in Malayalam. So this is where she actually started off, and even after she became a huge star here, it was then that she sort of went into the Hindi world. So she is remembered with tremendous amount of affection here, and people, and it was again, as you said, for a very long period of time. Heroines traditionally, except a handful of them, have a lifespan of 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. But here was a lady who was at the top for a better part of over 30-35 years and still continued to be at the top. So I think that this was really something which people in South related to very, very strongly. And that is why there would be a tremendous amount of affection and, of course, grief. The grief is already there for the last few days. But obviously that does not take away from the fact that people do still want to know what actually happened. And I don't agree with all those who say that we've got no business to interfere. This is not interfering. This is just interest in somebody whom people liked and people adored as a great artist.
Yeah.
So there's no harm in knowing. People wanted to know. There were so many conspiracy theories on what happened to Princess Diana. There were conspiracy theories on Whitney Houston. There were so many conspiracy theories which have been floated for virtually every celebrity who's had a sudden demise.
Yeah.
So I don't see this as particularly a intrusion on privacy.
Yeah, Geeta.
As long as we stick with whatever is officially documented as fact.
Yeah, and we'll have to see the prosecutor's report and things like that. But Geeta, you know, today she is being remembered also, and she will be remembered as a star. But I will also say this, Geeta, and we all know this, she'll be remembered as a symbol of hope, grit, and determination. She will be remembered as a girl born in Sivakasi to a Tamil father and Telugu mother who made it so big in Bollywood, despite all the odds. So those questions stay, but the questions also about why she died become louder and louder every minute. Geeta, what should be done now to quell this?
So as I said, I think perhaps this is the moment for the family, but it is also a moment for the public. And I feel that this public statement is something which is owed to put a quietus. It's for her sake also. It's important to put a quietus to the entire matter. It's obviously unfortunate that a young 54-year-old vivacious lady died in these circumstances, and she was one of the country's icons. But it's for that reason alone, it is important that a public statement should be made as to what happened. Maybe this is not the time. I think this is the time because it would put a quietus to the two matters. But one thing we will go away with, which is that the Dubai police are satisfied and have found that it was a reason to send the body back to India without having any suspicions. It's just that the public also perhaps needs to know because she was a public figure.
Absolutely, and I think you place it so well. This is principally the thought on people's minds right now. Sumant, yes Sumant.
Understand that.
Yes Sumant.
Arnab,
yeah.
The Dubai police did have the option of releasing the body and continuing with the investigation. That happens in many cases. Yeah. Where the body is released, the viscera have been stored, all
I
the
don't
tests
know the
have been
details
taken,
on that.
and they release the body but continue with the investigation. The fact that they chose not to and said that the case is closed means that they have very strong evidence that there was nothing wrong, there was no foul play.
I think it would be best.
So that is why
my view is,
and for the family also, their own interest.
My view
they
is,
don't want to go around being seen as having been part of something which might have been a cover-up.
My view is,
so their own interest, they should come forward and just release the autopsy.
My view is the details, you know, the prosecutor's report, other reports. It would perhaps be appropriate, even Rohit will agree, that release some of it, put it in the public domain, share the details to the best way possible that is not intrusive, and put the matter to rest. But that would be necessary to do. This is my view. Viewers, by the way, the pictures that you're seeing from the Green Acres building in Mumbai, where it's a Sridevi's residence, a large crowd is now gathered along with a massive media contingent as her mortal remains have been brought home. The last rites are tomorrow, and they are about, I think, after about 3:30 in the afternoon, and there will be a period of 4 to 5 hours when the body, you can go and pay your respects. Rohit, yes please Rohit. You listen to Geeta and you listen to Sumant. Are you in agreement with this line of thinking?
Just add one point, Arnab.
Well, if you are suggesting that the prosecutor's report be made public, and you spoke about several hours of questioning of Bonnie Kapoor, and you want the entire laundry list of questions that were posed to him and what answers he provided, I believe that that would fall within the realm of intrusion.
Okay.
I believe that we should allow Sridevi dignity in death, and we should allow the family to grieve and heal.
Just one minute. Sumant is responding to you. 1 second. I'm just getting a perspective.
Portion of why she lost consciousness.
Sumant. Okay, let's have them on the debate. Let's run away from the pictures for a while.
No,
and Sumant is countering.
Just the operative portion of the autopsy report as to why she lost consciousness. That's all that's needed. Nothing else.
Rohit is saying not even that.
There's no need to go into speculation on what questions were asked, etc.
Rohit is saying not even that. Rohit says not even that.
I made that comment, Suman, because
I mean, that's their
because
choice, but then,
Arnab had mentioned
the
that
questions will continue.
There were several hours of questioning that Bonnie was subjected to, and Arnab wanted to know what those questions were.
No, I said,
so I was responding
why not?
to that comment.
I said that. I said you can. I said here.
I don't endorse that.
I said that some find, either the autopsy report or the prosecutor's report, or some details must be shared, because the other way which Rohit you are suggesting today is that what you're suggesting today is that there may be no answer, or the case should be slam shut, and we should have no answers on how one of the most respected actresses in our time has died. Now that is one perspective of yours, which I'm not sure how well it will go, Geeta, among people. That the fact of the matter should be no single answers beyond a point, case shut, slam, no answers, and then just close the case,
Well, the answer was there
because
he lost consciousness and it was accidental drowning. We even know that she drowned in the bathtub. Fortunately,
that is also speculative.
We don't have pictures of the bathtub.
No, one sec. Rohit, don't be trivial. Rohit, don't be trivial.
The issue is that there was one story and then
Rohit,
another.
do you know something?
And that's
I want to tell you one thing. No, one second. I want to tell Rohit one thing.
Some of your questions.
I want to tell Rohit one thing. I want to tell you one thing, Rohit. I want to tell you one thing, Rohit. So you understand. You must understand sensitivity. Sensitivity, Rohit, is in the knowledge. And so I'm saying this to you and Shaina, so you understand it. Is in the knowledge that there are pictures on the social media that are doing the rounds of Sridevi after having died. Sensitivity is when we do not put those pictures on air. So with the greatest of respect, it may be inappropriate of you or Shaina to give me a lecture on sensitivity tonight, because we are very careful about sensitivity and asking questions at the same time.
I did not use the word sensitivity.
No, she used it, so I'm just saying.
I did not sermon you on sensitivity.
No, she said it.
Please don't put words
I said
in my
I
mouth.
don't need a sermon on sensitivity.
Shaina may have used that word.
She used it.
Don't attribute that to me, because
I said you and her, so I'm pointing it to her. Thank you for your clarification. The issue is, therefore, I'm only saying that she was an Indian celebrity and Shaina an Indian citizen. So, Geeta, the question goes to you that if you say you close the investigation, you give no answers to the Indian people, there's an internally investigation closed, and close the door, shut the door, and believe me, Geeta, people will not, be slamming doors and saying no, we want answers, but there will be that sense that why was proper closure not given? So I'm only looking for ways of resolving between people's questions and the argument put that we need not give any answers,
Arnab,
we need not share any details. I'm trying to find if there's a middle way on that.
Add in one point here.
I thought
Nobody said there should be no answers.
I just want to add in one point here. Also the fact that there was one story that was given on one day. We were told as the public that there was a cardiac arrest, and the very next day that there was an accidental drowning. So obviously that leaves a gap. It raises questions. It makes us wonder what happened. So especially given the light that there was two different situations that came, that I think that's why we deserve answers.
I
that's
just don't want
saying.
a feeling to go. No,
Ira. She had a lot of fans.
Where I'm saying here today, where I'm saying here today, and I just want to say one thing, and you must keep in mind our own record of responsible journalism. The question is that I do not want a sense to go, and Sumant is coming from the same place today, that I don't want a sense to go, and I'm belaboring the point that Rohit is not understanding, that whether Tarun Tejpal case, Peter Mukherjee case, Nirbhaya, Jessica Lal, Rocky Yadav, Varnika Kundu, Nitish Katara. In all these cases, the first time when we begin to ask questions, we are told you don't have sensitivity. But then sometimes it is necessary to ask these questions.
For God's sake, one is chalk, the
This
other is
question
cheese.
is not
Fine. No, I am
posed to
saying,
you.
kind of comparison?
I am saying
When
I do
When you
not
have
want the
social
sense to
media
go.
discussing was she
I
under the
don't-
influence
Are you-
of
I don't
alcohol,
want-
or
suggesting
was she
that
under the
there is a murder
influence of
conspiracy
substance
behind this?
abuse?
Shaina,
What would that make the two
Shaina,
children
I
feel?
only want to
That-
say,
that-
how did she die?
This is not about
Shaina,
you, Arnab. It's about a larger thing which is going on social media, where
what-
you have people talking about substance abuse, whether she was under the influence
That's
of
not-
alcohol.
no, that's
and
not
for
the question
two
that
young
Sumant is
girls
asking.
who
Is that
have
the question
lost
you're
their
asking,
mother,
Sumant?
This is
No.
the time where they
No,
need to have
one
their
second,
privacy and
one
answer
second,
No, no,
one second.
no, no,
Sumant,
no,
only
not
Sumant,
at all.
only Sumant.
No, I don't
only
think,
Sumant,
look,
only Sumant.
Look, I don't think it is right. I don't think it is right or fair for us to speculate on anything for which we don't have any kind of evidence.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the police feels that
Thank you.
it was a death due to accidental drowning, and on the basis of their investigation, they feel that she would have lost consciousness, following which she has drowned.
Yeah.
Now, all that we need the answer to is, obviously, if they have closed the case in 24 hours after the autopsy, they believe that there was a good natural reason for her to have lost consciousness and drowned thereafter. Now, putting
Sumant.
this one piece of information, saying
Geeta.
that she lost consciousness because of dash reason,
Yes,
would end
I
the speculation
feel-
forever.
You know,
That's all.
Sumant,
There's no need to go
Sumant,
on
can
to
I
any
can I
other,
can I can I add on?
You know, input.
Can I add
regarding
on?
the case.
Can I add on? It is one of those rare days when I agree with you. Can I just add on to that? I want to add one thing.
Yeah.
That going further from the point that Shaina raised, where she says there is speculation on substance abuse and other things on social media, I add a limited point that I do believe, and I close with Geeta's word on this, that the best way to counter and end all the speculation, to destroy it, and you would have not seen a single amount of that kind of speculation on this channel, the best way to counter and end that speculation is by releasing a limited amount of information to the point to which you don't believe it is intrusive. So maybe not all the original documents, but just release some facts in the public domain so that people stop speculating, and that is irresponsible speculation which can affect the reputation of the person who's died. The best way to close it is by releasing some specific information and then have closure on the case. What do you think, Geeta? Though, of course, this is also not something that you can force on someone.
Yes, yes. So, since she was a beloved public figure, I think the public should get a statement from the family, giving them that limited information which puts a quietus to the matter,
Yes.
in a very honorable way.
Yeah.
But that is owed.
Yeah, that is also a matter of choice. As of today, I'd say one thing. We respect the privacy of the family at this extremely difficult moment. We all love Sridevi. We all admired her. We grew up, watching her incredible talent. And today, for this moment at least, our thoughts are only and only with the family and with her. And may she find peace. May her soul rest in peace. That brings me to the end of the debate today. Viewers, I'll see you back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Till then, good night and goodbye.